So on top of everything else, you've got a guy who is 35, will be 36 in August, tore his Achilles tendon midpoint of the last season, coming off of one of his best games ever, if not best game ever, on a Monday night against the 49ers, goes to Green Bay, and it just snapped. You could see the video from behind. You could see the Achilles tendon just go. He's still on the road back to recovery, while Michael Penix, who's had his share of injuries at college, is 100%. Here's Cousins from yesterday on how the Achilles tendon rehab is going.
It's coming along really well. Been able to really, today I felt the best I felt. Just that is also one day at a time. And Falcons training staff's doing a great job with me on a daily basis with the rehab. And I think everything's trending in the right direction. And I wasn't sure when I stood here in March and I had just gotten here how much I'd be able to do at practice. But today I felt like I was able to do everything I would have normally done. We're doing great. We're progressing well. Today was a step better than yesterday was physically. So that was encouraging. But I'm watching the tape saying, all right, how much am I using my lower half? How much am I using my back leg to really drive the football? And there's still more to go get, but I also feel that I can play pretty well today. But as a competitor, there's more to go get.
You know, that's another aspect of what the Falcons did that is problematic. Cousins should be focusing entirely and exclusively on checking every box with rehab, not pushing it, not forcing it, not having extra urgency than what he otherwise would have. Having his replacement there, healthy, that is going to make him, it's just another ingredient in a toxic stew. It's going to make him push even harder. It's going to make him try even harder. And there's only so much you can do. When you're expecting your body to heal. He could push it too far. He could have a setback and open the door for Penix by trying to hold Penix off.
I would seriously question whether he'd even be doing some of the practice reps and what he's doing if Michael Penix wasn't on the football team. That he might be on a pitch count. But this is adding to, I got to get out there and show everybody. I got to make sure I don't let him have any reps with the first team. I want to be in control of the first team all the time. All of that. Yeah, I would think that's, part of this conversation here. And yeah, I could see it. I was going to bring this up anyways. I mean, we've seen enough clips on social media. He's not, first off, Kirk Cousins' arm has never been like, wow, but it's a good arm. And you could see there, and if we could somehow pile together all throws and what he's done right there even too. There's no drive off that back leg yet. He's not doing that. In fact, it's not. And a lot of the throws you look at it, his back leg is out of the framework of his body. So that just tells you there's no power or strength on it, right? Think about it. When you throw, you lean on that back foot, right, Mike? Or even a golfer. So it gives you that power there. He's avoiding that because he's putting the weight on the other foot and leaning this way instead of being here so he can really push and fire. He's trying to favor that. And yeah, he's going to rush this, and he's going to make sure he's on top of this. And, I know he's going to do his best not to hurt himself and rehab and all this, but just this adds to the angst and I got to get out there and I can't let this guy, invade my territory here. And yeah, I would seriously question whether he'd be doing everything he'd be doing, if Michael Penix weren't there.
You know what else is going to happen? And this is something I've learned from working with you. What's going to happen is, man, my elbow's sore.
It's going to compensate, right? There's going to be other things. Exactly.
My shoulder.
Right. Not using my body the whole way.
I've never felt this before.
Right.
Why is my shoulder hurt? Well, number one, you're old, and number two, you're putting too much arm into your throws because you're not pushing off the way you used to.
Exactly right.
You're protecting your leg, consciously or not.
Yes, those are the
all ties
effects.
Together.
It does. It all ties together. It does. There's no avoiding it. I had a similar thing where I had a high ankle sprain on my back push-off leg there. And, yeah, because of that, right, I started to create habits just to get it done. And a year I was playing for the Denver Broncos, and I started, to your point, having a little bit of an elbow-arm problem because, yeah, I was still trying to throw the ball with the same force, but I couldn't use all my tools the right way. And, yeah, those are the, unintended consequences of getting out there, going too fast, doing all of that. young quarterback who throws lasers like we talked about, impressive. You talked about too, like, hey, the Mahomes thing and sitting out and all of that. Like, hey, a lot of these guys, and the beauty of this class is they can play quarterback. This group is kind of ready. This is not like the Trey Lance, Justin Fields, Zach Wilson class where we're like, ooh, we like the physical traits here and there, but there's a few things that need to get better at quarterback. With these guys, it's like, no, they all can play quarterback. This is not going to be a huge adjustment here. And that's where, again, I just think it's all dangerous to your point of the other quarterbacks, what they see, the pressure on the situation, and the Falcons, if they slip up early in the year like we've talked about a few times, and they're sitting there at 2-3, and you're like you said, all the other quarterbacks are tearing it up, and Kirk Cousins is just playing okay, and they're 2-3 and 2-4, and it don't even look good either. It looks like the ball's fluttering in the air and all that. Like, come on. What do you think those Atlanta Falcons fans are going to be doing and saying? Like, get out of town. They're going to have a major problem on their hand in Atlanta.
And you're going to have people in the front office and people in the coaching staff who are going to say, and it's going to be natural at that point, why do we draft this guy if we're not going to use him? We drafted this guy. We love this guy. Why do we do it if we're not going to use him? And this is why, and this is some of the feedback I've gotten talking to people I know just about the Falcons organization generally. And Rich McKay is still involved, and Arthur Blank has been the owner for 20-plus years. But the void of strategic thinking, not just as it relates to X's and O's, but the broader business reality, all the things that go into operating a football team. Did they really sit down and game this out? Did they come up with a flow chart? Did they have brainstorming sessions? What are all the consequences, intended or expected? Because so many of the times, and, I guess this would make sense. I don't want to gratuitously take a dump on Rich McKay here, but how many times do we hear the competition committee concerned about unintended consequences, like they're incapable of envisioning how this rule is going to go? It's like the Falcons were incapable of envisioning what's going to happen when they add Michael Penix. It's fantasy football stuff. Hey, we got a great starter. We need a good backup. Oh, and we really like this guy. Oh, he's 24. Oh, he's a rookie. Oh, we gave the other guy $100 million. That's okay. We can make it all work under the salary cap. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. We need to have another quarterback ready. There's so many layers and levels to this that I feel like they have not considered. It makes me wonder, Chris, this is the same group. The same group that decided this would be a good idea is going to be making the decisions about when to flip to Michael Penix. That makes it even harder for, somebody who would look at this and say, how do we best handle this situation? The people who created the mess are now going to potentially complicate it by making bad decisions at bad moments about either sticking with Cousins or going with Penix, going too early. There's nothing, unless they're just willing to declare victory and retreat on Cousins and go with Penix. I don't see a good outcome here. I mean, if they go with Penix and Penix is awesome, then I guess it was fine. But even then, it's $62.5 million that was wasted on Kirk Cousins.
On the human aspect, right, by all things, I would think that they are emotionally invested in Michael Penix. That's who they are. I mean, again, you have to be. You had to have been blown away, which it sounds like they were, right? And he's the guy that, by all due accounts, from the people I hear from and trust around the league, right, the head coach and the GM went to the owner and were like, hey, we want to take this. It's kind of crazy, but we want to. So that tells you where their heart is as far as what they believe. It's like Kirk Cousins checked a box early on in the process and it was like, okay, we got a quarterback, right? But okay, we got it. We're good. All right. Now let's go through the draft process. Let's look at quarterbacks today. Holy shit, Michael Penix is this good. Holy shit. We just went to his workout. We were blown away by the film, and then we saw him. Holy crap. It's got all the signs of all of that. That's what's crazy. And that's doesn't go down in NFL world very often.
No.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. And that's why I said if you had any inclination that maybe you were going to fall in love with one of these guys, you sign Gardner Minshew.
Exactly.
You don't
Somebody
sign
like that.
Kirk Cousins
Exactly.
and give him $100 million fully
Right.
guaranteed. And
Exactly.
even if you trade him after 1 year, you will have paid him $62.5 million. You don't do that. And they did it. And the point you made yesterday when we were talking about Goff and Tua, you've got people who are invested in the player. Brad Holmes, he did the Jared Goff trade.
Right.
Brad
That was
Holmes
his
is
shining
going to have a
moment.
natural bias to
Right.
want to keep Jared Goff around because if they could win a Super Bowl with Jared Goff, look at this. We took the Rams' trash and turned it into our treasure. They won a Super Bowl, but so did we. And we resurrected a franchise. And we
Right.
got 2 first-round picks and a third-round pick to do it.
Yeah.
Tua, Chris Greer, tied together. Oh, you're not going to pay Tua? Chris Greer is the guy that drafted Tua and
fired a coach that won 10 games in a row, 2 years in a row, because it wasn't perfect for Tua, right? I mean, yeah. He's going to make it work.
So what's going to go on in Atlanta? Where's the bias going to be? Is it going to be for the guy that you signed in March, or is it going to be the guy you fell in love with in April and decided to make your quarterback of the future? When you have a quarterback of the future, there's an urgency to make him the quarterback of the present.
Yeah.
There's a natural organizational urgency to do it. We want to fast forward to the day that the guy that we love is our quarterback and everything is coming to fruition. And that's going to be the challenge here as well. The decision-making process as they go forward. How committed are they to their plan? And how inclined are they going to be to resist the temptation to just say, screw it, we love this guy. Put him out there and let's see what he can do. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.